Your missus, how is she?
She's good, man. She's good. Yeah, as you know, she had a bloody pneumothorax, and that's basically like the clients flying out of the blue. Fine, she's fit and healthy, luckily, which was really helpful. And yeah, she's back on her feet now. She's 95% recovered, man. But 3 nights in hospital, mate.
Wow.
That was challenging, man. It's crazy. It makes you realize that, we know it anyway, but life is fickle, and your health, you can never take your health for granted. It's the foundation and it for everything.
Mate, it makes you realize when when your loved ones are sick, um, it's kind of like you love them more, don't you? I think that of all the bullshit that in your life, miscommunication, fucking the fog that can consume you, just your day to day fucking life, I think that can evaporate, and you kind of just go, fuck, look at this person who I love and they're struggling. I think it's into when I went back and, I was surprised when I was in the UK and my mum was unwell, and I never forget, I had to take it for a bone marrow extraction, which was a surprise. Went for a coffee, come back, and my mum's sitting there, dressed up to the nines, best gear, old school, best gear, hair done perfectly, sitting there half an hour early. I'm here early, doc, and she's to get this bone marrow extraction thing done, which she was shit herself, and I could see, but she was really kind of batlax, old school, not showing it. And I went for a coffee, and she was just sitting there, and I was looking at her going, bless you. I could just see the little girl in her, and I just had this pouring of love more than obviously I love my mum, I love my family, but it was a really pure love. Then I was like, fuck, what's this? And it was just because, sometimes your heart goes out to people that, if you can't fix them or change it, and you'll just look at them and you think, fuck, I love that person.
Yeah, 100%, man. It strips away all the BS, doesn't it, really? Because nothing else matters, right? It's like nothing matters other than you being present, right? With the people you love. That's all that matters at the end of it. But it's tough, man. Like we were just talking about, isn't it? You're doing everything, everyone's busy, you've got all this stuff in your mind, you're on your phone all the time, you're checking emails, you're working, deadlines, and you get so sucked into life, into stress and business and earning money or whatever that is, right? Even training, like I think I mentioned to you, right? That's what I noticed is even you could take routine too far, right? So obviously, again, I don't mind sharing this, but looking back, I could have just went and spent the whole time in hospital with her pretty much. But obviously I decided to go in the afternoon and do my routine and stuff. And you need to do that though. Like that's something that I'm passionate about is you can't serve from an empty vessel, right? If you can get your mental health straight, you can serve better as ever and be there and support people better. But that's something I realize is even that I'm still driven by physique as well. So even though I do it for mental health, it is mental health. That's the main reason I do it. Give me a little boost of energy. I feel good mentally. But when I thought about it afterwards, I'm like, it really is. It's still a bodybuilder thing that I battle with, right? Because I used to compete and stuff. I think it's action about like I still check my abs all the time and stuff. Not all the time, maybe like, I don't know, 5 times a day. It used to be like 50 times. What I realized is, long story short, I still care a lot about how I look, right? And it wasn't that I was, spending the whole morning training to look good, but I was thinking about what drives me to do it. It's mental health, but it still is physique a lot as well, you know what I mean? If I'm honest.
Look, I think over time, if you've programmed yourself to look at yourself and appreciate all the hard work that you've done, because it takes years to create any kind of physique that you're proud of, right? And that's good. Once you obtain that, you want to keep that. So it's not a bad thing to look in your physique and appreciate the hard work that goes into it. And I think routine for people who do achieve a certain physique. Number one, that physique is showing usually, as long as you're not eating all the fucking bullshit, you just go macros and eating chemicals, if you're eating whole foods and you're looking after yourself, usually the fact that you are lean or the fact that you're looking good shows that your internal health is looking pretty good. And that's always a good barometer for me. When I look at myself in the mirror, if I'm looking, a bit sloppy, so to speak, then I'm like, I'm not healthy. I'm eating something that's inflaming, that's not agreeing with me. And it's a good barometer for me. But routine for me is exactly the same. You talk about with your missus the other day. I've spoke to you before about holidays. I've struggled with holidays because I'm like, fuck, I have to still do my training because it affects my fucking head too much. It's not because I'm not doing it on holiday because, I just want to look amazing on holiday. I want to show off to someone with my missus. You know what I mean? I want to enjoy the holiday, but luckily she's exactly the same.
But it's still that thing in the back of your mind, though, right? If we're honest, well, 100%, that's the main driver. It's like, I need that boost, I need that release. And it's like, you don't feel good. I don't know about you, don't feel good sitting there and eating. And like you, and we still make good decisions when we're away, right? It's just lifestyle. But you feel better for it once you train, once you put your energy levels up. You know what I mean? I don't know, it stops like bloating, water retention, all those kind of things. But you feel so much better. But it's still that thing at the back of your mind. They're like, want to make sure I maintain, like you just said, right? It takes a long time to build it, and you still want to maintain the physique that you've got. But it does relate to health, though, right? It all comes back to health. It's like you said the other day, when you're feeling like inflamed or bloated around here, or you're just carrying more fat, then it's a sign of, I'm not really taking care of myself. And you look in the mirror, you're like almost disappointed at your action, right? As opposed to, I haven't got a six pack. You know what I mean? It's more about your habits.
I let myself down.
Yeah, let myself down.
Of everybody else, if I look at myself and I go, well, I know what I've done to achieve what I've got. For me, there'll be a million people out there with better physiques than me. Great. But for me, I'm happy with maintaining a certain physique. It means that I do my work. I've achieved some good stuff, and I feel younger. I feel fitter and healthier than I have done probably 10 years ago because of my diet and how I maintain. So if I drift off that fucking look in a minute, go, fuck, you're drifting, Ian. It's not for anybody else. It's for me. I'm holding myself accountable to maintaining a fit and healthy and strong body. And as you get older, the more knowledge you get. I listened to, I think, we Joe Rogan had somebody on recently where they were talking about, and I've heard you preach about it, kind of, training, muscle and strength training. It's like the longevity muscle for your life, right? The more of that you do, and you keep yourself physically strong. I only have to look at my dad. I told you, I went back to see my dad. Unfortunately, he's got Alzheimer's. Really, really awful situation to be in, but he's frail. He's frail because he's never done strength training. He never used to go to the gym. Great football. I mean, he used to play at the back in football, 5-a-side. Me and my half fella getting stuck into people. Great player. But that's all he did. He did the things that he liked to do. So it was football. He never used to like to go running because it bored him. Didn't like to go to the gym because it bored him. So the minute he stopped playing football, that was his activity's gone. So he's got like skinny arms, skinny legs. And now he's obviously seriously ill. His body's frail. And it's like, and if I look at, you can look at the people who still keep to it and they keep to the gym, they keep strong. You look at these people in the 70s and they're still strength training, whereas my dad, is totally different. And then when the illness or the challenges come from a health perspective that can come to you, your body's set up stronger to be able to deal with those things. And I think my dad just wasn't in the right kind of space to be able to deal with them, and he didn't have routine and he didn't have these things. When he was he lived in Spain with my mum for a period of years, and he had the villa out there, and he kind of flitted between the two for a period of time. Then they lived over there for like, 10 years. And the expat community, my dad was all engaged in. So his brain was ticking with his expat community. They go on walks, something called the hash, with the hash, and they'd fuck around drinking and all this. It felt like a little community that they'd go to. So that filled his day. He used to play petanque, which is like that balls, the metal balls and all that. Yeah. So he had like this thing going on. And when he come back to the UK, because behind all of that stuff, he didn't have any routine for himself. So he didn't have anything that I do this for Michael. It was these things happening around me, and it's great over here. It's almost like a bit of a holiday world that he was living in. But then behind all that, there's no meditation, there's no breath work, there's no reading. He used to read, but there's no stuff to understand yourself. He thought all that was woo-woo. And no health and fitness training, no dietary stuff. So his gut biome will be fucking all over the place, because he probably eats shit, drink beers. So, and as you know now, the gut is as much as an effect as the brain does on your dopamine and serotonin and all that. He had none of that. So when he was extracted out of this life that was happening at him, so to speak, to keep him fucking like this, keep the brain going, he's then back in Liverpool in these four walls. It's pissing down outside like it is now in Sydney. And he's fucking sitting
that foundation there.
There's no foundation saying back to him.
Yeah.
So he got lost. And then I just seen him, I've seen him slowly decline over the years, because but what's happened to this? What's happening to this? And that's like, it's like now when it's fucking pissing down outside. I live in Cudgee. It's great. I can go play beach on a sunny day. I can walk, I can snorkel, I can swim, I can play beach volleyball, I can walk down as a group. It's almost
Well,
like
I even brought my swimmers even today, right? Because I don't get a novelty anymore. Because I used to live in Coogee, right by the beach here, where Ian lived, living the dream, right? I don't live near the beach anymore. 20-minute walk. I brought my swimmers now, even in the rain.
oh well,
So I don't get that novelty now. I'm gonna go for have to go for a quick dunk after this, you know,
a journey.
just to get the you know, the nature, isn't it? But no, you were saying.
So like life can happen almost at you. So that's the beauty of living in a country or a place where I live. That happens at me. But on the days like it's pissing down today, I was still up. I was up at 3:30 this morning. I did my work. I meditated. I've been to the gym. I was back from the gym, sauna, cold shower by 8 a.m. Did some more work, cleared the decks, had something to actually cook my nice thing. You've come in here, we're doing a bit of content and chatting and, putting the
But here's the big one, right? So he got up super early. What time did you get up this morning?
3:30,
Right. Now that's extreme, right? But what time do you go to bed?
8 o'clock.
There we go. So if you go to bed early enough, right? So you probably not ideal, but it's not far off though, right? You probably had about 7 hours. Probably scraped about six
or 7.
Yeah, which is not too bad, right? So you go to bed early to achieve that, right? That's the key thing is what you do the night before. If you went to bed at like 10 or 11, like that ain't happening, right? And if you do get up at that time, that's not good for you,
No,
right?
no, I know.
And you're not going to be as productive, right?
No.
So
But the thing about that is I'm looking at my missus is away in Melbourne. So obviously of an evening we'll have a nice meal together, we'll chat and stuff like that. But she's not there. So I can either watch a lot of shit on TV and just, dumb myself out.
so which
Fucking clink. And sometimes it's nice to do that.
it is.
Watch some Netflix, Love is Blind, or something. That bollocks to sneakily watch it.
What your missus is not.
Brother, we put this thing on again. Oh, I don't watch this.
I'm not watching that bullshit. What you need, you like new to the TV.
But I thought, no, just like to the last 2 nights, I've gone to bed fucking 8 a.m., 8 p.m., meditated for a bit, drifted up, slept. And then as soon as I wake up in the threes, I'm like, oh, I've had to sleep. I'm up. Everyone's quiet. Let's fucking go. Let's tackle the world. And I have this kind of, as I said to you before, that's kind of my high performance. I'll get up, coffee, fucking Bosch, UK tunes on, and I'm off. And then by the time I come to like 6 o'clock, I've done like 3 hours of deep work. I've cleared my decks for the day, so I don't like, at 6 o'clock when most people are like scratching their ass. I've got up, I've mapped out my day, I've mapped out my week, I've cleared my decks, I've achieved some great stuff. I can go to the gym knowing what my day looks like. And actually, I've got meetings. I've got a meeting this afternoon at 5 o'clock. I've got a call with somebody in the US. But like, I've had a great day already. So
And then
that routine
Yeah, 100%.
that I have, health and fitness, internal work, all of this stuff, no matter what I do, that routine's never going to change.
Yeah, cemented.
And that fucking health and fitness pillar has been my one pillar through all of my shit since I was 14 when I got first weights bench.
Yeah.
I've always done health and fitness because whatever the day's thrown at me, there's something that I can do for me. You know what I mean? And then what's that doing? It's keeping me strong. It's keeping I'm achieving.
100%. But firstly, I want to say sorry about your dad as well, man. That's like, because my granddad had the same issue. I had Alzheimer's. I remember one time I turned up, and he was going, and, he was kind of like losing his mind. And I turned up one day, he thought I was the plumber. Turned up, I thought he's going to laugh. I look back, I laugh, right? Because my nan was I'll say how it is, right? She was a bit of a bitch towards him, right? She was just like, I love my nan, right? God bless her soul. But she would like take the piss. Like, he's got that old timers, used to call it old timers. And I knocked the door and he's like, Mary, the plumber's here to fix the wash basin. He used to call it the wash basin, right? Old school. Yeah, Grimms, it was gone like that. And it seemed like it happened, bang, like from 1 week to the next. And that was it then. So, man, that's grim. But I love this conversation because I just talked about this on the previous episode, talking about exercising the most effective type, really, for everything, longevity. And like you just said there, muscle is the longevity organ, right? So it improves insulin sensitivity. And when we look at insulin sensitivity, Alzheimer's is now known as type 3 diabetes. I believe even dementia is just known as type 3 diabetes now, right? So it's all related to metabolic health. And it makes you more insulin sensitive when you're lifting weights. If you've got more muscle, in other words, you assimilate calories, your blood sugar is more regulated when you eat carbohydrates and stuff like that. It changes everything, long story short. And then strength, just like you mentioned then, you mentioned about, unfortunately, your dad being frail. That's the biggest risk as you get older, is being frail, having a low bone density, and it's all related, right? You look at your muscles, when they're strong, when someone's got we lift weights for a while, built a lot of muscle, to me it's kind of common sense, but your brain's going to be a bit sharper, right? Because you're doing hard stuff regular, right? You're doing hard stuff. You've insulted your body for years in the gym, and it's had to adapt by getting stronger. And there's research now on the brain as well. The best type of exercise for the brain is actually strength training. So they find that actually develops regions of the brain. Don't know if you saw this study as well. I think it was in Sydney, a 6-month study they did on old people, and even 2 strength training sessions a week for 6 months to reduce the risk of Alzheimer's and dementia by I think it was 4% or something. So, I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot, but that's a lot, right? Because you know what it's like. Once you get it, it's kind of hard to reverse. So 4%, and who knows what would happen if he did that for 10 years, right? That was 6 months. So, strength training is the way forward. But any form of exercise, like you said, the stuff you enjoy. But that's another point as well. Like your dad was doing the stuff he enjoyed, and I think it's really important. Like any exercise you do, that's going to keep you consistent. But another thing I heard recently, I had the guy on my podcast actually talking about the mental health. He was saying about men in particular, they live way longer when they have community, right? And because women do it naturally. We talked about it before. But men, they did a study on men doing cooking classes together, right? Which is weird. But doing stuff together, having a laugh, whatever that is, it could be anything, like your dad with the ball, all that kind of stuff. That makes you live longer, right? Because it keeps your brain active. Like you say, you're having fun. You've got human interaction, which is the most important. So when you then went back, and you probably get more vitamin D as well, which is critical, right? For serotonin and brain health.
That now.
No, exactly. Back to Liverpool, boom. Didn't have that foundation. Fortunately for us, I talked about this recently, didn't I? About my mental health struggles. I said on that clip, right? I said that, I basically had depression and for 18 months, 2 years, luckily I told my mother about, really close with her. Managed to get through it, but I had health and fitness there. It was already at the age of 22, because I've been doing it like yourself, since I was 15, 16. It was already cement, and I worked in the gym and all, right? So even if I didn't want to go to the gym, I was PT, I was there all the time. I used to train with my mate. He's like, you're going to do chest today or whatever? Yeah, go on, just do it, because you're there. At the time, I was still struggling and battling. God knows what would have happened if I didn't have that foundation. You know what I mean? So it's all related, isn't it? That's brain health. That, when you're going through depression, anxiety, you're going through struggles, there's going to be things which cause that, environmental factors, but also your actual brain health. When you lift weights, it's going to, or any form of exercise or the way you eat. And it's like when you eat, when you train, you make better decisions with food. It's a ripple effect. You know what I mean?
The struggle I think for a lot of people out there is the overwhelm. It's the realization, because you can be speaking to people. I speak to my mum about stuff, because she's got some blood illnesses. You got my dad with his stuff, and doctors haven't got a Scooby-Doo about diet. No fucking idea. I was talking to my doctor on the phone, and I was saying, my dad's really frail. Obviously these things are coming on. Should he be eating a specific diet? He's eating fucking cakes left, right, and centre and all that. Oh, it doesn't really matter. I'm like, it doesn't really matter what he eats. So the stuff that he's got, sugar is a big cause of the majority of fucking illnesses. And you're saying it's okay for us to eat cake? And
it was recommended cereal in that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
So people listening to this now, most of them in America, it's even worse over there, and they'll relate to that. It's the advice.
It blew my mind.
I wish they didn't give any advice.
It blew my mind.
See, better if they said nothing, wouldn't it?
Because my mum told the doctor, for her, that was my dad. I was on the phone to my dad's doctor when I was back in the UK. Yeah. My mum was talking to face to face when she was getting a bone marrow thing. And she was told, my son here, he's into his nutrition, this, that, and the other. I can see the doctor's eyes roll straight away. I'm like, what the fuck are your eyes rolling for? Shouldn't you be interested in nutrition? I can see her oh, here we go. And my mum said, this, that, and the other. And again, her one was like, yeah, they won't affect your bloods, this, that, and the other. You should be telling me mother a diet, no matter what, to be able to stand it in good stead for whatever it is. If she's going to have treatment, someone's going to do stuff to stand in good stead. But nothing, no protocols, no nothing, just crack on. And she jokingly said, I turned me back, and she nudging my mum and goes, don't worry, after you do the little operation tomorrow, get yourself into the canteen, you can have a cake off the NHS. I'm like, Dad, you're actually telling me to eat some fucking cake on the NHS. Now, don't get me wrong. We can all enjoy shit.
Here and there, all right,
yeah,
cool.
You can all enjoy shit, but I just thought it was a doctor who was specifically telling her to go and eat shit, and there was no protocols to stand it in good stead for what maybe she was going to then be presented with. And as human beings, what we eat, fuels our body and stands in good stead. Surely we're going to go through some treatment. We should be dialed in to be the strongest vessel we can to deal with whatever it is we're going to do, and not just eat shit, because if you eat shit, you get fatter, older, fucking frailer. So you're going to tell people, don't worry about that. Get fatter, older, frailer. and then we're going to pump you full of some shit which is going to really attack your immune system and all this. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, man, and that's the good thing about
Sense to me.
it's unfortunate for your mum, man, because again, she probably it's not her generation, right, to necessarily be listening to podcasts and stuff, right? But people have got this, but now people get the advice now globally and rapidly. So there moves the technology in these conversations. People, man, the experts of adult and stuff, like people know, okay, that's not right. I've got to go and research myself. But it shouldn't necessarily have to be like that. I got to go. I'm going to have to research myself and trial and error when I've got an illness. You know what I'm saying? Like there should be, even if they just said, I don't know, or, you know, I can recommend you a nutritionist, something that's going to be more effective than telling them the opposite of what they should do, you know? It's grim, man.
Yeah. That was a shock. It was a shock, but it's very overwhelming, especially for the older, older demographics who aren't used to it. And also the thing is, after stuff they used to eat years ago, it's actually different today. We've got about 50 more ingredients in it today. So the same product from what they knew, you don't even have to look at the, McDonald's. I wouldn't go near McDonald's anyway. But like the product has changed.
Mhm.
At least we cooked in like beef tallow and stuff like that, out seed oil. So all of these things have changed. They go, all right, my day. Well, you're eating totally different products.
Exactly.
It's a whole different thing.
That's it, man. But even the meat you buy, right? There's all the processed foods, and it's just literally like 90% of the supermarket, right? It's just chemicals. It's not even real food. And then even the meat, though, if you just go and buy some meat and you don't know any better, where's that been, right? You don't know even with the meat, right? So they're pumping the cow's eating all this stuff, pumping it full of hormones. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to make money, right? It's a business. Everything's a business, and it's all about the bottom line, right? In most cases. So unless you know, it's like even like we get our meat right from the butchers and stuff. And I understand like for some people it can be expensive to eat red meat all the time. They don't have to do that. Even if you have them like tins of sardines, and most people don't like sardines, or even tins of salmon. Like you can get the wild Alaskan salmon, get that on offer with the bones in it. It's going to be way better than just relying on the corporate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, look, it's like pick your pain, pick the price. There's throw an extra few dollars, a few pounds into what someone did, or pay the price in your health later.
Exactly.
When you're sitting there and you're serious, and just like we said in the very beginning, the thing that I noticed when my mum's ill, my dad's ill, nothing else matters other than pure love. I want them to be well, and I would give anything to make them better. Any money I can get hold of, I would pay it to make them
100%
to make them well.
Yeah,
and even if you do that for themselves,
that's it. And even just like single ingredient foods, though, right? Even if like it's actually not expensive. Like all I'm saying is beef is always going to be a little more expensive. It is good to have grass-fed beef, right? Even if you get ground beef, like just saying, just for argument's sake, right? Because not everyone can literally ribeye steaks every meal, right? There's limitation for some people. But even if you just get it in bulk, right? You can go to like Costco or Macro or whatever. You can get like frozen vegetables. You can get good quality meats there to get it in bulk. The reality is, if it's a priority to you, you will cut back in other areas. You'll cut out the Uber Eats. You know what I'm saying? You'll cut out the bullshit and you'll be smart about your health, right? It's just what you prioritize. But it's just a shame that it's so sad, man, that a lot of people leave it till it's too late, man.
It's overwhelming now. Even my mum, I'm back to my mum with stuff, and she actually says, look, this is overwhelming sometimes. Like, and there's things she won't do and things she won't do it. And it's like, okay, but I know I'm drip feeding certain things through. Some things change, She's up in the morning, she'll go, hot water with a lemon and this, that, and the other. She's trying to fast a little bit. Do what you can, but it's very overwhelming. I think it should be more simple. It's like we've complicated it by chucking a whole fucking chemical thing for food, which isn't food, into this. It's actually quite basic. If you look at what's out there, this is actually what we should be eating. It's humans who've complicated the whole thing. We're just chucking all this fucking mix of bullshit.
That's it. If you just say like meat, fish, eggs, fruit, vegetables, done. And people know, and that's the thing. That's the other thing. When now most people know what to do most of the time. Most people, you know what I mean, but they just don't do it. Well, that's where the behavior
changes. I mean, even me, sometimes I'll have a few bits in here, like it might be a protein yogurt because I like the taste. And in amongst the day when I'm eating, I thought I'll have one of them. Now I know it's chemicals. Macros are okay. It tastes okay. I'll have one now and again. But it's chemicals. It's not fucking real food.
Yeah.
But I'll do it. But I'm having that here and there, little treats and stuff like that. Because I know if I'm looking at something good about the chemicals, I know it's not fucking good for me.
100%.
I know it's doing internally bad shit to me. And what people fucking give it a break. It's like, no, give it a break. That could be killing me. It's part of a fucking concoction of things,
Yeah, exactly.
which will potentially.
And even though I think the big one as well is the water that people consume, man. Like it was crazy in the UK how they randomly they just said that. I think they said recently that tap water is not safe in the UK, right? Like it's been unsafe probably for like since we were kids drinking it, right? There's fluoride in it, which is neurotoxic. There's all these chemicals in there, right? Even simple things like that people just don't they overlook. It's like if 70% of your body is water, right? And you're drinking, 4 or 5 liters a day or even 2, 3 liters a day, you want to make sure that the water supply is clean, right? Because that's going to build up the heavy metals, all those kind of things that get into your system, right? So it's such a compound effect, and you can never be perfect, but it's just those simple things you can change. I want to wrap this up now, right? And I want to ask you a few questions, right, to wrap this up. Anything you want to say first?
No, far away.
To switch gears a bit, what's your proudest moment?
My proudest moment. There's been a few, but one of my, if I'm being honest, just because it's really fresh and it's quite raw, I felt quite proud and honoured to be there with my mum when she was getting a bone marrow extraction recently. I just got this overwhelming feeling of love, and I was proud that I could be there for her. At that moment, I thought, bless her, and I'm so happy I'm here, as hard as it was for me to do. I knew it meant so much to her, and I was thinking, if this means so much to my mum, that me personally, I'm here, that makes me quite proud that I must, be doing okay as a son. For this to mean so much to my mum. And that I, just by being here and being present for her and holding space for her, it means so much to her. So that made me feel really proud. And I was honoured to be able to support my mum at that time.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. What advice, kind of a cliche question, right? But what advice would you give to the, I don't know, 18 or 20, let's say 20-year-old version of yourself? What advice would you give yourself? You give yourself a piece or 2 pieces of advice?
Fuck me. First of all, I give him a slap around the face. I would say, wait till fuck up. I was stuck in that trap of that age group. You know what I mean? It was all about partying. It was all about girls. It was all about yourself. I was so self-centered. I was all about, being happy, finding the external, because it was not that. I was through the week. It was just fucking work, head down, recover from the weekend, then party. And at the weekend, I just wanted to party, pull chicks, escape. And I looked at the world through these kind of really, it was a really blinkered view of what the world was. I wasn't open-minded. I wasn't open to talk to other people. I'd say, oh, they're nerds or they're geeks or fucking, and I was like this tough guy it was from Liverpool. It was all this tough guy. So I would say, just open up, fuck the ego off, engage people, listen. I wouldn't ever listen. Even today, it's hard to listen to people because you're so excited sometimes when you're on this wall. Just fucking listen, be open. And I would just say, it's not all about you. I'm not saying I'm doing this now. I'm not. I'm the opposite. It's about what you can give. And I think giving and helping people is the biggest kind of form of fulfillment that you can get. And I think when I was younger, I was looking for what I could get rather than what I could give. And I think now with the business and the kind of mission I've got, where I'm trying to give as much as I can through all the shit and the fuck ups I've done, me being an asshole, maybe helping other people not being an asshole, I would shake, little me, and I would say, no matter what's gone on in your life so far, wake up, remove this ego of yours, open, talk to people. Not everybody's a dickhead if they don't, if they don't abide by what you see the world as. And you're limiting yourself. I was limiting myself to life's experiences because I had such a limited view. I was looking through this little letterbox of what the world should be. Yeah. If
That's powerful. Yeah, it does, man. That was powerful. And last question then. So in terms of, you're 48 now, right? 48 years old, in great shape, obviously healthy. Nutrition-wise, what's the main, I don't know, how do I say this? Whether it's non-negotiable habits or whether it's like structured food or certain foods that you eat, what is it that keeps you on track with nutrition for the most part? And when you fall off, or not fall off, when you like, I don't know, guilty pleasures or whatever, or if there's any foods that you eat every now and then, like 5-10% of the time, how do you just have a little bit and then stop? You know what I mean? Like that, finding that balance. How have you found that balance with nutrition?
Yeah. So I'm 90% dialed into a routine. It's the majority, and of that 90%, it'd be 80 to 90% whole foods. That'd be organic chicken, organic, beef or steak. I just make it easy for myself. I make it simple. I make it simple because I fast. So I'm fasting 16 hours a day. Once you do that, it becomes your routine. You're not hungry. People go, oh, I can't fast. You just do it. It becomes automated. Fucking, you finish at 6 and then you're not eating till 12. You go to the gym, you come back. If the next minute you're ready to eat, it's not a problem. That's what people don't understand. When your body gets used to it and your whole psyche, and then it's like a little game to me when I feel a little hungry. I'm like, oh, my body's in ketosis. It's cleaning up the shitty vessels. And
that's true as well.
I feel great.
I know, at least it's burning fat, yeah.
Yeah, so I feel great that it starts to do stuff. So I'll make it simple. That means I don't have to eat as much. So then I only have to cook 2 meals a day. So most people might be cooking 4. I'm cooking 2. So that's easy. So I'm only cooking 2, so there's less time involved. So I've got more time back. So make it easy. I order food online because I'm ordering my meat. So I order from a grass-fed butcher, Mackenzie's.
And obviously you get it cheaper when you order it.
Yeah, order online. Or the bulk, it comes once a week. Some goes in my freezer, some goes in my fridge. And I'm just doing it so once a week. And I just literally, I get Celtic salt in my mince, fucking mix it up, burger patties, bosh on the barbecue. And I do that once a day. Sometimes I'll have chicken. I'll mix it between chicken and beef. Nice and easy. Sweet potatoes, natural yogurt. It's easy. It's not really hard. And it's good because my missus kind of eats similar to me. So what I do is order in bulk, fast to make it easy. So I'm getting time back, and then I make it simple. Now, for things that are kind of, I want those treats, I'll have like yogurts and stuff, but like there might be protein. On the whole, I eat natural yogurts, and I put a bit of nice honey in there or something, but it's nice raw honey and stuff. But sometimes I go, I want a protein, or sometimes a protein bar, even full of chemicals. Some people are like, that's fucking.
I know, but no one listening to this is perfect.
That's the help. But like, I'll eat them. And then on the odd occasion, if I'm going to go naughty, I'll do a pizza.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll do a pizza. I'll get a gluten-free base because I actually don't mind it. And because I feel like I don't eat gluten-free base, it really plays on my guts, and I'm fucking wake up in the morning or 10 shits. I'm fucking pizza shits. So I'll have a gluten-free, and I love it. You know what I mean? I might just do that once every couple of weeks on a Sunday, and I smash it. But on the whole, because I really enjoy my food, because my burgers with cheese on, stuff like that, I don't have the buns and stuff. I enjoy my food. I don't feel like I'm needing to load up on other stuff. When I do, it's a treat. And because I don't really drink anymore, sometimes on the weekend I go, oh, well, I'm smashing beers here. I might as well have a pizza. You know what I mean? And I give myself that little out. And I don't beat myself up. If I do it, so be it. If I have 2 in a week, who gives a shit? Because what I then do is I'm looking at I'll look in the mirror, and if I feel like I'm inflamed, I go, I'll run off track, and then I'll dial back in. You know what I mean? So, exactly.
100%. Where can the audience find you? I'll put it in the show notes and stuff. Obviously, good man. What's the best things for me to share with the audience, or what's exciting going forward for you?
Yeah, so we've got the Artistry of Humanity podcast. I think we're on our 23rd episode coming up. We've got Good Men Helping Good Men, which is our kind of brotherhood community, which we develop, and the app goes live, I think, the first week in October, which I'm very excited about. It will be free initially, as we make sure it adds the value that we know it's going to add. Within that, you'll be able to connect to other like-minded people through the app. So if you're lonely, that loneliness epidemic, we want to eradicate that. We believe this is going to, really help humanity on a mass scale. So you can find us there. And obviously I've just recently started to develop my own personal brand now that I'm going to start talking a little bit more. Broke through that. I speak to you before about that kind of fear factor, because all this is natural, you know what I mean? So as you get a bit more comfortable with it now, like it was the Good Men Helping Good Men page, so I started developing my own page, which is we'll go from there.
Nice, man. Nice. Hey, great to catch up, man.
Thank you, my brother.
Cheers, mate.